Michael Allen from Manpower. We are a national brand, yet locally owned franchise. We are familiar with the challenges businesses face. It's tough recruiting and retaining qualified employees. That's why working with Manpower is a smart, cost-effective solution. Our entire focus is talent acquisition. We'll manage your hiring and training and provide ongoing customized support. Since 1966, we have been your community-invested partner, uniquely positioned to help eliminate the hassles and save you time and money. Let us help. Contact Manpower today.
Hello and welcome to The Hub, powered by Manpower of Richmond. I am your host, Michael Allen, and here on The Hub, we interview local businesses, community partners, and very special guests. And our mission is to share and spotlight unique and untold stories of companies, organizations, and people who are making a difference in our community. Today's guest is Dr. Casey Pitcher. Casey is the North American Director of Human Resources for Osborn. Casey, welcome to The Hub.
Thank you.
So good to have you with us today. We've had the pleasure of working together for a few years at Osborn. Mm-hmm. And it was during a visit earlier this year that we planned to do this podcast. And part of it, our timing was that we wanted to celebrate Osborn's 20th year.
Yes.
In Richmond, and the date for that is coming up. It's August 14th. Mm-hmm. So here we are, and I really want to chronicle the 20 years Osborn's been here in Richmond, as well as your personal story. But before we go into that, I want to go into our Hub tradition, where we ask you about your very first job that you had that you can remember.
Oh my goodness. My first job, like most teenage girls in the 90s, it was babysitting. Mm-hmm. And then my first, I guess, regular pay was probably fast food. I worked at Burger King. I went off to college, and then that summer, I worked at the nursing home. I would do the laundry because what fun is that? So, and then from there I went into retail and then ended up in Osborn.
So you worked at Burger Chef. And
yes.
What? Back to the babysitting.
Long time. Yeah.
Back to babysitting. Do you know what that going rate per hour was back then?
Yeah, so it was funny. So I babysat outside of, because I was the oldest. So I had my sisters, the oldest in the family. I grew up in church, so I was always the go-to. But my first regular babysitting job was I made $90 a week, and I had 3 kids. So it was Monday through Friday. The lady worked at Ford. She worked second shift, so I'd have to be there usually around 2 or whatever, to watch her youngest and then get her oldest off the bus and then put them to bed. And then she would get home around 11:30 midnight, and so I'd go home. Wow.
So that's almost like nanny territory there.
Yeah. It was, it's pretty cool because the youngest was 3. So it gave me, I was able to take them to church and stuff. So it was kind of introduction into what it would be like to have kids full time, I guess.
A little training ground there. Uh-huh. So that was good. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Share with our followers a little bit about yourself, kind of where you grew up, your family.
So I am Connertuckian. I was born and raised in Connersville, and then hit 18, had graduated and stuff, and went off to college in Michigan and did my thing, was up there about 10 years and decided to come back to Richmond and finished my schooling. So I got my bachelor's degree, and then once I finished my bachelor's, I was introduced to Osborn because they were looking for a buyer. And I told my career advisor at the time, I have no idea what a buyer does. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine. So fast forward into interviews, got into Osborn as the buyer, worked there for a few years, decided to get my master's in human resources. So then a position became in human resources. So I switched over 2014 to human resources, and I've just continued growing from there.
So tell me a little bit about growing up in Connersville. What was that like?
So, yeah. So, growing up Connersville, 80s and 90s, Ford was the big thing. So at the time, Connersville wasn't necessarily what it is today, but, very local. Everybody knew you, which was good and bad, because as a teenager trying to express yourself, you couldn't do anything without running into some family's parents. I was going to tell your mom what you were doing. So it's like you really couldn't go or do anything because somebody always knew somebody that,
There's didn't have a lot of, no secrets in a small community.
And surprisingly, there were, you couldn't get away with a whole lot. Even pre-cell phones, like we didn't have cell phones, so it's not even like there was text and stuff. But it's like I saw, Casey in the parking lot of Burger King at midnight with a bunch of people, and it's like, by the time you get home, your mom's upstairs. It's like, where have you been? Yeah. You're supposed to be sleeping. Yeah.
Pretty innocent activities in today's world,
absolutely, right? Absolutely. Like the worst thing I was doing was staying up,
just hanging out
in the parking lot, and cruising Friday nights, driving, 5th Street, 3rd Street, Central, that whole circle. So, sneaking wine coolers, because you thought you were cool.
What did were you involved in any certain things in school that kind of, I think you're really, from what I know about you, I think you're a pretty good student. But is there other things that you'd like to do outside of academic?
No. So I was a cheerleader, believe it or not. But that was like my big thing. I was a cheerleader, and I spent a lot of my older teen years, so like 16, 17, outside of trying to do school, I was involved a lot with my family because we had a medical emergency. My cousin at 6 was diagnosed with brain cancer, so I spent a lot of 2 years up at the hospital helping my aunt with their other kids and stuff. So my few years there, I wasn't able to do much because I was taking care of them. So
so you end up going to college in Michigan. How did that happen?
I wanted away.
Just go a little bit of distance from.
Yeah, so I went up to Michigan and got my real first taste of freedom and did some stupid crap, and so then decided to come back and focus back.
Was it university? Was it Michigan University or was it?
No, it was a private school.
Okay.
So, very, very strict. Because I originally wanted to be I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So I went and I was studying teaching. And then when I started doing my like student teaching and stuff, I was like, oh no, I don't want no part of this. So I switched to business, which was probably a very good thing for me. And so I transferred to Indiana University, and that's how I came back to be with family and go to school, and that's where I got my bachelor's and just continued going from there.
We have some similarities. I'll have to talk to you about some other
the
time.
Private school.
Yeah, I went to a private school for like one semester, and it didn't. It was in Chattanooga, Tennessee Temple University. Very strict.
Yep.
Like kind of Baptist college.
So mine was Midwestern Baptist in Michigan.
Pontiac?
Yes.
I know that school.
No kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, we can edit those words out.
I went. So I lasted two semesters, and then my third semester, I was like, I cannot do this.
Oh wow, that is so crazy.
That is because Tennessee Temple in Knoxville was
Chattanooga.
Yep, was my second choice.
Your second choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, where did you get your master's?
So I got my master's from Walsh College in Troy, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to get back on track. Oh, there is one thing so do you have any children? You have,
So I've got 3 bonus children.
okay.
So no biological children of my own.
And then you're a little, you do have an affection for pets.
Oh my God, yes. I always tease, like, if I ever won, like, the big lotto or whatever, it's like I would have that 100 of acres with just like all the rescue animals running around. Like it kills me when I see like the shelters and stuff, but because I would take them all and my husband would leave me, I'm sure.
Are you predominantly a dog person, or
I never thought I would be. Because I started with cats, and so I rescued 2. Well, I had a cat, and then I met my husband, and he was horribly allergic, and so it was kind of like the cat or the husband, which was harder than you would think.
He's gonna love watching this.
But so I did get rid of the cat, and I gave her to a really good friend I knew she'd be taken care of. And after a few years of marriage, he surprised me by allowing me to get. He said that I could rescue another cat, so went to the shelter. I had to be careful because my original cat, Shelby, was Maine Coon, so she was long haired.
Those are big cats too.
Yeah. And so I think that's what the problem was. So I went with to the shelter, and they had, because they were overran, surprisingly, even back then. So it was buy one get one. So I took 2. I got a tabby and a calico, and so then I was like, okay, so I'm a cat person now, right? So, and they were my babies. And then, unfortunately, I lost one. She passed away when, and then so I rescued another one, and then I wanted a dog. And so I got a Boston and brought her home, and this thing, I don't even know if she knows she's a dog. Like so to the point where it's not even just me, like, because I take her everywhere. I'm that person, people that you complain about, but I am that person. I take her everywhere, and my parents love her. My grandma will say, "Oh, when Pearl is coming, I missed her when she's not around." So I go to my parents' house, and they've got like a cabinet's got like treats and toys.
Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa's house.
So she loves going to Nana and Grandpa's house. Absolutely.
That's awesome. To your getting back to the work part of it, what made you decide to go into HR, human resources, as a profession? Is there something that kind of clicked with you that wanted you to do that? Because you were doing teaching, right?
Yeah. So I wanted teaching, and I was like, nope, I can't. God bless you teachers out there. I don't know how you do it. But I was like, I'm going to go into business, because I kind of always liked the business aspect of things, like the behind the scenes, how things work, the numbers. And then I was a manager at a retail store. So I was responsible for doing the hiring and the training and stuff. And I like being on like the people side of things. So I was like, I bet I could do human resources. Little did I know what human resources actually involved. But so I decided to go back and get my master's in business, and I needed a concentration. So I was like, I'm going to give human resources a try. And so it just kind of went from there. And when I was at Osborn, I went to the VP of HR at the time, and I said, hey, I'm working on my master's. I said I would love to do any kind of an intern, follow you around, shadow you, or whatever. So I said, if you ever have anything, I'd love to pick your brain on it. And it just happened, an HR position became available, and he's like, are you interested? And I was like, yes. And it was, my official title was HR generalist, but it was kind of the catch-all for everything. Right. Somebody needed lunch, somebody needed a hotel, you were I was the go-to admin for kind of everybody, did the orientations and all that stuff. Didn't do a lot of hiring or anything at the time. Worked with temp agencies. So that was kind of my introduction. And then I just kind of kept growing from there, trying to take on more responsibility. And anything that came up, I wanted to do the good, the bad, the ugly. Like I wanted to do it all because I wanted to really immerse myself in, which worked because then, I wanted to be where everybody knew my name, and isn't always a good thing, but they knew my name. Yeah. So,
what do you find to be like the most rewarding? Shook the table. What's the most rewarding part of HR for you?
So for me, when you truly can help somebody. So like, one of my best stories is I had somebody that was a machine operator. And so I talked to them because part of my job is developing people, right? So trying to find out what strengths people have and what your ambitions are, what do you want to do. And so they had told me they wanted to be more, but they had no idea how to do it. So I was like, I can help you. So I actually helped do their FAFSA. I helped them enroll in school because Osborn reimburses. We do $5,000 a year. You go to school, we're going to pay you. So, and so I helped this individual they were able to leave Osborn as a machine operator and go into more of a position they want. They left us, but they were doing what they wanted to do. So really showing people their potential, right? So I would have loved for this person to stay with me, but,
right.
I don't always have the opportunities for the growth on stuff like that. So, but.
What do you think is kind of the most challenging part of HR?
HR gets blamed for everything. When something is wrong, if there's a culture issue or there's a leadership problem or, it's HR, right? Mm-hmm. And you see the jokes, it's like, oh, people want flexibility or people want this or that. And it's like, oh, well, HR throws pizza at you. It's not, it's not my fault, right? It's right. Not always, so I think the most challenging part in HR is like, we're all responsible for our work environment, right? We're all responsible for making, Osborn a destination place, right? So, I bring someone in, but it's the people, right? They're going to work with you, So if, you have this outlook on what you think your job is and you tell others and you're negative, that person's not going to want to stay, right? So, challenging is keeping the talent, right? Developing, giving them, having them give me a chance to make this place, what you need it to be. So
I would think sometimes, most companies have rules
mm-hmm.
about how much you can miss work or,
yep.
And you may have two different people who maybe accumulate the same amount of points or however,
mm-hmm.
warnings
mm-hmm.
or whatever, but how they got there is totally different.
Yeah.
But they both have to be let go, and you can't. You have to be consistent with the rules, I would think.
Yeah.
And that part would be frustrating, knowing that you've got to let go of this person who's just had some really horrible things and circumstances got them where they were, and the other person just did it to themselves.
So, yeah, so we have a point system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have attendance, and we do our best to keep it black and white, right? So it's like if you miss, you're going to get a point. But if you talk to me, like if you have family issues, if you have a sick child or, we offer flex time. We offer unpaid leave, right? So, you have your federal FMLA, right? So, but you have to work for a company for 12 months. You have to have a minimum number of hours to get FMLA, right? We at Osborn cover short-term disability, though, from the beginning. Like, we give it to you for free. So all you have to do is talk to us, right? We have options that might work for you, right? So we've had individuals that's like, I just can't do it. I got to take care of my spouse, or I got to take care of my kid, or whatever. And it's like, well, instead of pointing out, take the next 2 weeks or whatever, do what you got to do, and then come back to us, right? So it's like, we just need people to communicate with us. We can't help somebody if they don't tell us what's going on, right? We offer flex hours, and everybody wants the option, work from home. You hear that. And I always tell my people, especially on the floor, it's like, you tell me how you can run your machine from home.
Yeah. You make stuff. It's
right.
Hard.
It's like my machines. And, if I can get to the point where I don't need you physically at your machine to make the parts, I'm not going to really need you anymore. So, so that, that's a hard, because if you've got your office staff, right, and they have the flexibility, they can work from home, right? You got your customer service, your marketing, your accounting, generally speaking, if you got your laptop, you can work from home. You're running a machine, show me how you can do that from home.
It's just the nature of the job, right?
Yeah, so.
Well, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about Osborn and what you make.
Yeah, so Osborn.
People run those machines.
Yes. Multiple different types of machines. So Osborn as a whole has been around since 1887, and they started off in Cleveland. And then we moved that operation to Richmond in 2004. So we started off with our wire brushes, which is our one of our largest divisions right now. So we make wire brushes. So you need something the burrs, you need something welded, you need something, we make wire brushes of all different sizes for basically any kind of application you could think of. We also have Load Runner. So Load Runner makes like cam followers and stuff. So I think roller coaster wheels. If you go to like the Colt Stadium, how it has like the retractable roof, those rollers are Osborn, right? That Falcon Stadium, the bearings and stuff are Osborn. So we have custom rails and stuff. So, and then we have our Sealy division, which is like weather strips. So think like garage doors. So like at the bottom to keep like the debris and stuff out. You go to grocery stores, you open the doors at the bottom and stuff. So we make any kind of like weather stripping brush and stuff for that. So, and then we have like our polishing department, make polishing buffs, all different sizes, and the compounds and stuff to go with that.
Most of your products are more of a commercial use or not? Could you go buy a wire brush that at Menards and you're making that, right?
Yeah, you can go to Amazon and find an Osborn brush. You can go MSC. You can go to McMaster and find wire brushes. So you can get them anywhere.
What's kind of like your largest client base of the stuff that you make in Richmond? Or is there such a thing? Or is it just really spread out?
It's really spread out. So, we have a lot of distribution centers, like MSC and stuff. So they buy a lot of our stuff. Amazon's a customer. So,
one of the things I've seen when I was in there before is you make the, like floor scrubbers, and don't you make the pads that go underneath those?
Those are part of our buff.
Yeah. So those kind of a everyday thing that people that wouldn't realize. You see people operating that equipment in stores, whatever, and those are being made here. You opened in Richmond in 2004.
Yep.
And there's been a few, I don't know if changes, maybe it's add-ons. We talked about it once. So in 04, open, but then in 2012 there was.
Yeah, so in 2004, we opened our doors, and it was just the Power Brush department from Cleveland. And then in 2012, we moved our load runner division from Cleveland. So we moved that to Richmond, which is why I was actually hired. I was hired as a buyer for the load runner division because the woman that was doing it in Cleveland did not want to relocate.
Okay.
So that was actually my introduction to Osborn. And then we moved our headquarters from Cleveland in 2014 to Richmond. And so we actually had to build onto our facility to what it is now because we brought multiple positions, our customer service, our sales, our marketing. We moved everything from Cleveland and we moved it to the Richmond facility. And then in 2017, 18, we moved our Richmond, Virginia facility of Sealeasy. So we moved that operation into Richmond. So that was a big deal. That brought probably at the time 40, 50 positions to Richmond. So shout out to Shannon. She she helped me a lot during that. But yeah, that was it was a good time. Sad because we had to close the Richmond, Virginia facility. So all those people that had been part of the Sealeasy, but we did move them. We brought all those jobs to Richmond. And we actually had one person from Sealeasy, so Richmond, Virginia, relocate his family to Richmond, Indiana, and he's still part of it. So he's got almost 30 years with the company as a whole.
So in addition to like the manufacturing positions, though, you have several management and upper management jobs that exist.
Yeah, because so we are now North America headquarters. So our CEO, our CFO, the VPs all sit in Richmond. So, it's a good. It's kind of cool to watch because like when I started in 2012, it was just this small facility. There's like I think 4 or 5 of us in the front office now. And now there's like the CEOs there and the VPs are there. And, we've got all these customer service and marketing and all the accounting team and stuff is all there. So it's been quite the experience for me to watch it grow to what it is now. So,
when we spoke the other day, we talked about around 2021, Osborn became a little bit more intentional and support in the community overall. Not that you weren't supportive before, but there was more of a intentional move.
Yeah.
there.
So as my career throughout Osborn has grown, in 2018 I got the opportunity to become the HR manager for one of our sister companies at the time. So I relocated to North Carolina for a sister facility. And then as we grew, developed, reorg, I went from North Carolina to Michigan and then back to Osborn in Richmond. And so I came back at the end of 2021 and me and the HR that was there, we put in we decided that we wanted to make Osborn a destination place. And we made a commitment to be more involved in the community because we found a lot of people didn't know who we were. So we started meeting with all these different groups, the nonprofits and stuff, and we really strived to put our name out in the community. We wanted people to know we were dedicated to this area. Mm-hmm. So, and we did. So we have done multiple fundraisers since being back. So for basically for 2022 and to where we are now, we have donated over $11,000 to local charities. We participate in the suicide prevention walk. We did our first year in 2022, and we were the largest group there, and we donated the most money. So it was really a testament. And so we went back again last year, and again, everybody was looking for us because we came made them. Like everyone that volunteered to participate in the walk got a shirt, Osborn and stuff, and it had a saying. And then the first year was tie-dye. So if you saw one of us, you knew who we were. And we had a tent, and so we were giving away stuff because we wanted everybody to know who Osborn was. And so then the next year, everybody was looking to see what we were going to do. So again, our team, our employees really step up because, again, this is a volunteer. They don't get paid to do this. It's on a Saturday. They are donating their time to bring awareness to a great organization. So, we'll do it again this October. So, and then we do Wayne County Special Olympics. We always have a team. So we have 3 teams, I believe, went the first year. And we donated, one of our teams won, and we donated that back to Special Olympics. So they were very happy to see us come back.
That's wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, we've donated to Girls Inc., Centerville schools. So just at each Christmas, we take up a big donation. So our team really steps up when it's necessary and donates and gives their time. And, we have volunteer day at the Townsend Center, and our team, again, volunteers on their Saturday to, go contribute to the time. So
I can tell just you talking about that, that's something that you really enjoy.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Really into doing that. What would be, and maybe you just shared it, but kind of maybe an unknown part of Osborn they would be surprised to hear about in terms of just about the company, and that they'd be pleasantly surprised to hear about the company. I don't know if I'm saying that
so our big focus is, on top of the community involvement and stuff, is our employee engagement, which is always a struggle. And depending on who you ask, we fail or we do really well, right? But we try really hard to listen to what the employees want and need, right? And you're always going to have, that group that no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough, right? And you're going to have those that they just want to come in, put in their 8 hours, and go home. And that's fine, right? We still need those employees. And I don't want to use, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're family, come, we're, because at the end of the day, we're still a business, right? But while you're with us, we can do what we can to make it as enjoyable as we can, right? So it's got to be those kind of like those outside things that make us different, right? Because everybody can be like, oh, well, we get, 10 paid holidays. We get 2 weeks vacation. We pay for short term, right? A lot of companies do that. But it's like what makes us stand out. And so our focus has been, we make a difference in the community, right? We're going to go out there. So if there's a job fair, we're going to be there. If there's a community day, we want to be there. If there's the 5K, we want to be there. Read Right, we want to be there. Suicide Prevention Walk, we're going to be there, right? We want to put Osborn out there. So, and it's surprising each time. And, Sarah and I will talk because it's hard. It's hard being HR, right? You get blamed for everything. You still deal with your turnover and stuff. But then you'll have that one person that'll come to you like after an event and they'll say, well, never, we've never had an employee do this. They, and it's like, okay, so that one person, we touched that one person made a difference, right? It makes them proud to be part of Osborn. And that's what we need to keep going.
Right. Yeah. That's great. 20th year is coming up, the 14th. What do you have going on at the plant to commemorate it?
So we are going to, based on feedback we got from the employees, we are going to celebrate the entire week. So we made special T-shirts that everyone's going to get. We're going to bring in cupcakes. We're going to bring in a dinner. One day we're going to bring in local community members and kind of celebrate. We went and we've done all kinds of research and stuff on the history. So we've got really cool displays and stuff to put up on like the timeline. And we found old advertising for brooms from Osborn and stuff. So we really want Osborn to be something that our employees can be proud of, that they've worked. We've continued to grow. We've had our ups and downs, like, a lot of companies and stuff. But at the end of the day, we really want to show that we care for what we can control. Right. So,
do you feel like your product line is still very relevant in today's world?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have customers that have been with us since the beginning. We've got suppliers that have been with us since the beginning. We've got business partners that's been with us since the beginning. And that's one of the things that they focus on. We want our quality to be there, because if the quality lacks, then you're going to lose those, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact that we still have customers that continuously buy from us, it really shows the commitment that Osborn has to putting the name behind the product.
The technology may have changed that helps you create your products, but the product that you provide is very relevant in the world, and as far as the applications and the uses of all the different things that your company makes. Right?
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you spending time with us today. It's been great to learn more about yourself and then just the great work that's happening at Osborn, and hopefully there'll be another 20 years that we can celebrate on top of that.
Oh, we sure hope so. We sure hope so.
It's business is hard.
It is.
And you got to work at it, but I think you're doing a great job, and I love to hear the things that you're doing with the community and employee engagement. One thing I was going to ask you, I kind of almost forgot about it, was when you were in North Carolina, that's when you kind of decided to become Dr. Casey Pitcher. Tell us about how that came about.
So when I was in Richmond, I had 4 facilities, right? So we had Janesville, Richmond, I had Sealy in Virginia, and then I had our Hamilton and Richmond facilities. And I was really trying to make a name for myself. I wanted people to know who I was. So if something needed to be done, I was like, I'll do it, right? So I was always busy, and I was working on my master's. So every moment of my day was like I had a schedule, right? Like I got home late and making dinner. I had the girls. I had my homework. And so it was just crazy. So then they're like, hey, we have this opportunity. We need an HR manager at our North Carolina facility. And I was like, yeah, I'm in the mountains. I'm there, right? So as a family discussed it, we went. And so I went from every moment of my day, I had something to do, to go into North Carolina, and I had one facility. They had about 65, 70 people, and I had already graduated my master's. So I got bored. Like, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, I'll go back to school. I'm going to go get my doctorate. So I did. I enrolled, and so I started my doctorate, and then 2020 happened, and everybody knows what happened in 2020. And so I was like, I can finish this. Well, then I took the opportunity to move from North Carolina to Michigan, to the headquarters of my last company, So then I went from board 2020, Michigan headquarters for automotive, and it was nuts. Like, I was working 6-7 days, 12 hours a day, trying to do my dissertation. So then I was like, rethinking my entire life decisions, but I stuck through it. So, when I came back, I was like, all right, I'm a doctorate now. So we need to talk about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
when the work that went into getting your doctorate, is that, I know it's a different level maybe of learning, and you have to do a dissertation. Mm-hmm. Is it kind of like doing a master's all over again? It's not like you don't.
Oh, no.
Or, I mean, just how's it different from getting your master's?
So with your doctorate, and I can't speak for all of them, but for the doctorate in business, it was a lot of writing. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, here is 2 chapters and I'm going to ask you questions or whatever, right? You have to research, and they want you to be a strategic thinker, and they want you to be a problem solver, right? So I would have done 2 more years of classes over my dissertation any day of the week. Okay. Because my classes, I was like, this is okay, right? Because I'm a talker, obviously, right? I can think. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what you should do, right? And especially because it was more business and HR related, which is what I'm passionate about, right? So then I got to answer based on my thoughts and what my research and stuff. And then I get to the dissertation part, and you've got like this 100-page research that you've got to, do surveys and questions, and have to find a population. And I was just like, holy crap! Like, I mean, it was intense. It was intense. Up until the dissertation, I thought I would do 5 doctorates over, because my master's was hard. But that dissertation, I was just like, this is going to break me. This was going to absolutely break me. But it didn't. I got through it. And so now I make everybody call me doctor.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. It's a great accomplishment.
Yes.
And again, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thanks for making a house call with Dr.
Yes,
today.
yes.
So
right.
Dr. Casey Pitcher,
yes.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Welcome.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Michael Allen from Manpower. We are a national brand, yet locally owned franchise. We are familiar with the challenges businesses face. It's tough recruiting and retaining qualified employees. That's why working with Manpower is a smart, cost-effective solution. Our entire focus is talent acquisition. We'll manage your hiring and training and provide ongoing customized support. Since 1966, we have been your community-invested partner, uniquely positioned to help eliminate the hassles and save you time and money. Let us help. Contact Manpower today.